There's this saying
Yeah.
in Latin. It's
He's smiling. He want to cook. Let him cook.
He's looking for it in his tabs right now. That's
He
what it
said,
is.
there's this little
like,
quote that I heard.
because they're gonna think, oh, he was on his phone this episode. It's like, nah, I was studying. Welcome everybody to the Quarter Life Crisis podcast. I'm your host Nick.
Hi, I'm Yoki. What's up, y'all?
And our shout out to our illustrious savage of a producer in Justis.
What's up?
How's everybody been?
Pretty good, bro. I say scale of 1 to 10. I'm at an 8.5 right now.
Really?
Yeah, been chilling in the crib. I start school back up again next week, so I've just been trying to take my time and enjoy myself, catch up on shows, hella K-dramas, hella animes, hella movies, just, chilling, vibing in the crib. But apart from that, working out when I can, organizing myself, just doing chores, just enjoying like home life. So I'm doing pretty well. How about you, Nick?
I'm doing well. I had a poem drop the other day. It's like the first one that went over there. The snaps. Shout out the Hotspot Network. They're a good platform to showcase different artists and stuff like that. So they wanted me to start off the year on their Instagram, like have the first poem of the year. So that was an honor. It's called The Illusion of New. So I was just talking about kind of how we view new things and new concepts and stuff like that versus what they actually are and the time it actually takes. So that was really just a good opportunity. And then I've got some other stuff in the works similar to that. So, get ready for the RT content.
That's fire, bro. What about you, Justis? How you
Cool.
doing?
I'm like a solid 7. I'm tired. Been working a lot. Shout out MSNBC.
Whoa, name dropping your job?
Monday we start like jobs been pretty like calm, but Monday we start like being on live TV.
With the Iowa caucus?
Ball. So shit gonna get hectic, but I'm chilling though.
It's gonna
That's
be
mad
active.
cool,
It's
bro.
gonna be active. Can you vote?
Me?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I'm an adult.
Okay. No, I just wasn't sure if you're registered.
That was a pretty sassy response.
Yeah, like, well, I'm just trying to make sure you good. Like,
Registered. I think I got it in the mail, and I don't think I did.
Damn.
you ain't registered. You got it. Well,
I still have time, don't I?
I think. Yeah,
I'm
you
sure.
got.
I think so.
You could start. You could literally register up until like I think a week before or something. So you got time.
Okay,
But
yeah. No,
get on
I
it.
want to vote. If that answers your question, then
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. Thank you for bringing that up.
I was gonna ask who you voting for, but I don't
We're not
even want
gonna
to
do that.
get in
We're not
that
gonna
realm
do
of
that.
conversation.
We're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
We talk about for the presidential because it's 2024 and all that.
We're not gonna do that.
Nick, we'll see. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
We're not gonna do that.
it's like lesser of two evils and all that lately.
Type shit.
Yeah.
But what movies were you watching?
What K-dramas?
No. I mean, if we want to.
Nah, you're good, Nick, bro. You don't have to PR yourself. Don't worry. You don't got to PR yourself. Actually, have I really been watching that many movies?
Have you seen Saltburn? I feel like you would like that.
That's one that I wanted to watch.
Yeah.
I've been
I didn't watch it
you know
yet.
what's funny, bro? I was watching.
It was nasty though.
What was it? Do Revenge. Yeah,
Okay.
Do Revenge is like this like high schoolish type of like it's like a bunch of rich kids and this one girl is trying to get revenge on the group that she used to be part of, even though she's not rich herself. She's like a scholarship student, but she's worked her way into being one of the popular kids in that school. But it's mad cool. I think it's very enjoyable. It has like a really cool twist towards the end of the movie that I really enjoyed. But apart from that, yeah, I've really just been watching like more K-dramas. Honestly, in terms of K-dramas, like I'll recommend one that's like not so stereotypically romantic or more suited for a female audience. It's this one called Weak Hero Class 1.
Okay.
That shit is gas. It's basically
Sounds like an anime.
it basically does work like an anime. It's about this kid. I think his name is Si Hyun, I think his name is. But he's a very studious kid. He lives with his dad, who's very busy because I think he's like a professional sports coach, and his mom doesn't live with them anymore. She's like a very, very highly touted professor. And he studies a lot, and he starts to get really like badly bullied at his school, right, by these kids. But he's not really a very meek kid. So at first he's like, "Can you just leave me alone, bro?" And at first they don't leave him alone. Then they start to mess bro up. Long story short, there's another kid in that class who's always sleeping, chilling, who used to do MMA. And so he starts whooping ass for real, you know what I'm saying? And they end up becoming friends, and it becomes a whole thing. There's like a third guy who moves there, a third kid who's also a meek kid who used to get bullied, who like, it just a bunch of twists. If I say any more, I'm gonna spoil it, but there's a lot of fighting, a lot of like really cool and actually like complex character development. And it's a very unique K-drama because most K-dramas center around like female gaze, more of like the girl's perspective. No, female gaze doesn't mean lesbian. I think that's, you don't know what female gaze is? Female in like media. Yeah, Justis is laughing at that.
Not female gaze.
No, not
with a Y. Female gaze.
Oh,
with a
like
C.
looking. Oh, my fault.
Oh, so no, you're good. You're good.
I thought you said like female gaze.
No, female gaze. Gaze.
Nah, wait.
No,
I thought the same thing. I'm not gonna
Yeah, I was like, bro, why didn't you
it's-
say lesbians? What you can't say? Is that like a new word you can't say? That's what I thought.
No.
I was like,
wait, actually, can we say that?
you can say lesbian, I think, but I was about
Can
to
we
say
say gays?
gays. Why not?
Can we refer to them as the gays?
I don't think.
I think it makes sense
that
not
makes it
to.
crazy.
I think
LGBT viewers, can you let us know if we can say that?
Well, the G is gays, right?
I think we can say, "Oh, that person's gay." But can we say the gays? That's like
Nah.
that's the thing. The blacks.
No,
that makes it
I don't
crazy.
think being a person outside of that group of people, I don't think you
I think it's
should
kinda crazy.
outwardly say it. But back to what I was
They
saying.
should tap in with us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
tap
think-
in.
Yeah, definitely.
Community.
Basically, give them some education because
From
people,
you.
we just want to, learn new things. But the female gaze is, there's a male gaze and a female gaze, and it can be in like how men view, what's the word? Attractive qualities in men compared to how women view attractive qualities in men.
Yeah.
It's like a misconception where men will look at like the buffest, like almost like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type of guy, or C-Bum is a more like modern day bodybuilder, and see like, oh, he definitely gets hella girls and da-da-da-da. But most girls who view guys through the female gaze would be like, oh, no, he's not that attractive to me. I'd rather go for like the more empathetic, more like maybe he's characteristically leaner, or he has maybe more feminine traits, I guess you could call it. But kind of like most K-dramas, or a lot of K-dramas, are portrayed from the female gaze. So it'll be like more like pretty dudes, or more like Prince, like knight in shining armor type of guys, if you know what I mean. More like that. So I think Weak Hero Class 1 is a little bit different from that, where it's like, it's more of a shonen anime made into a K-drama, if you know what I mean.
Looking at a dude and say, "I bet you he gets a lot of girls," is kind of crazy.
It is definitely a little wild, but also,
It's definitely something that happens a lot, though.
No. I agree with you.
But they'll say that because they're afraid to say like they think a dude is good looking. So it's like, oh, like you probably get a lot of girls,
Facts.
like, so they don't want to say that.
Yeah,
But
that's fragile masculinity.
I know that's how they be though. But another thing, to your point, I've heard that term, the female gaze, but more in like, say I'm like reading a book, or like watching a movie, and like people will say, oh, like this character is written by a woman or something like that. Like,
yeah, basically,
you can
it's
tell
like
they're
that.
written
It's
by
like
a
that.
woman
That's like
because of how
that's an
they're-
example of the female.
how
gaze,
they
you know?
are carrying themselves in the movie
Yeah.
or whatever they're doing. It's like, oh,
Like
this
a
is
man written by a woman compared to a man written by a man is completely different.
Exactly. They say a lot about like, I think it was Lady Bird was the movie with Timothy Chalamet.
Yes.
That his character, like, oh, like that's like, you know what I mean? Like it's how they go about it and things like that. But there's been a lot of controversy recently as far as in the entertainment world around the Golden Globes. Did you peep?
I didn't peep any controversy. I only peep like people who won stuff.
There's a comedian. His name is Joe Coy. Why are you laughing? His name is Joe Coy.
Because I watched the Golden Globes.
So you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to explain? You probably explain better than me.
He hosted the Golden Globes, and
Oh, was Taylor Swift at the Golden Globes?
Yeah.
Or was that another one? Oh yeah, and he
Well, she
made
didn't
that.
feel it,
Oh,
yeah.
never mind. Yeah, I did hear about that controversy. It was a really shitty joke that
Tell
didn't
the
land
people.
at all.
Though. Tell the people.
yeah. So Joe Coy hosted the Golden Globes, and he was, I'm gonna just say it, not funny.
He's not
It just
funny.
wasn't funny.
Generally, he's not funny. I don't think.
Yeah, I've never like really tapped into his comedy, but I know that wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And he said this joke about Taylor Swift that didn't land.
What was the Taylor joke?
He was
Something
like,
about-
the Golden Globes is coming right after the NFL. Only difference between this and the NFL game is we have less camera shots of Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift, they they took right to Taylor Swift, and she was
She was
just
like, this,
no
she
reaction.
took a sip of a
right,
drink
right.
Shit
like
was not
this.
funny.
Yeah.
Which
She was
honestly,
very awkward. It was just
in my opinion, even though it wasn't a funny joke, you getting like she looked like she was mad about that, which is like kind of whack to me. You know
I think it probably is more of the volume of the amount of times that she probably hears that joke. Because if you look at it from her perspective, she was just going to those games to support Travis Kelce. Like for whatever we don't know about. Like she was like, okay, I'm gonna go support my new boyfriend, you know, enjoy myself. And while it was funny, all the memes is like, oh, we see her more than we see some of the players. She probably deals with that a lot. Like she's probably like, damn, bro, I'm just here at the Golden Globes. Like, can we just, bro? Can we
you think she's annoyed about that too?
What?
Like
she
the fact
probably
that
is.
they show her
She,
so much?
to some extent. At first, she was probably like, "Oh, this is fun." Like, but like at some point, she's probably like, "God, can y'all stop?"
I
Because
think
now all I hear is about people hating.
she might feel exploited too in a way of like,
definitely.
I'm going to sport, and now the
Definitely.
NFL is trying to
'Cause they're
get my
trying to
fans
get-
to watch
For sure.
But also, was that before or after the Barbie joke? When he said
Barbie?
that?
The Barbie was after because the
Barbie was after.
What was the
Taylor-
Barbie
The
joke?
Taylor Swift joke was. Oh, so that's what you're talking about, the controversy.
No, because that was also controversy. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is to that point, because he also made a Barbie joke and he said something like Oppenheimer's about
Oh,
like a 712
yeah, I did
page,
hear
whatever,
something about
and
that.
Barbie's about plastic boobies, which was just crazy.
Oh, that was just the
if you
most
saw Barbie, it's
trash,
like,
bland
that's just a
joke
wild.
I've ever
joke.
heard, bro.
Barbie
But-
was funny though.
I think
But-
bro's just not funny.
But here's the thing, right?
I think bro just proved he's not funny.
The problem with that is like, so as a comedian, not that I'm a comedian like that, but you have to build some type of credibility with your audience to take certain risks. If he was funny up until that Barbie joke, they probably would have been like, it's like misogynist, whatever, but they probably would have laughed it off and kept it pushing. He would have been fine.
For example, Cat Williams, who's also getting lots of buzz right now because of his special with Shannon Sharp. If he had said that joke, I think he would have first of all delivered that better. And like you said, because of his credibility, it had been like, okay, maybe it was a little bit of a risque joke, but
Yeah,
Cat
but we
Williams
know
is
you
funny.
for that.
He's a funny dude.
Nobody even know Joe Coy for real. Well, let me say, not say
I didn't
nobody.
even know who Joe Coy was before the Golden Globes.
He's
to be
well
honest.
known in like his community. He's a Filipino
I see.
comedian, and he does like his content is very Filipino. Like if you watch it, I saw one of his specials. I didn't think he was bad. I've seen him do better than that. But the other problem people had was he was like, oh, I didn't write these jokes, stuff like that. Which you don't throw your writers under the bus.
Yeah, you can't do that, bro.
And B, and most importantly, if you're a comedian, one of the most important things you need to do is read the room.
That ass.
He should have been able to. Oh, they don't like this. Let me come up with something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting paid a lot of money for this. So yeah, I was just very much shocked. And now I didn't even peep who won. Due to all that stuff going on.
Oppenheimer won a couple. Barbie won a couple. It's obvious.
The
at this point.
typicals.
Yeah. People from like Succession, I think.
I know
won.
Storm Reed won something for This Is Us.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I think Shorty from The Bear won too. The black girl.
Oh yeah,
Ayo.
and
Yeah, she did. She did. And what's his name? The
the-
guy.
Jeremy Allen White.
They both won
He won for Iron Claw or for The Bear.
for the Bear.
Okay, wait.
They both won for the
I
Bear.
heard The Bear was good.
I haven't
The Bear's
watched that,
great.
bro.
I've
I
seen
started
season
watching Beef.
Beef is, bro. I'm happy you finally
It's
started.
pretty
watching
good.
it.
It's pretty good.
Wait till you
Grow up, Nick. Grow
What
up,
episode
Nick.
are you on?
I just watched the first one.
Yeah,
It's good,
keep
though.
going, bro. It
What's
gets
it about?
really funny. It's about road rage that turns into something crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not like beef the food or like beef whatever. You're
Beef
thinking.
is in like I
It's
have
like
beef with you.
like-
Like
yeah.
static.
What's beef? Yeah,
It's static,
yeah,
static,
yeah,
static.
yeah.
Okay,
Like
wait.
I have beef with you, basically.
Okay, that's an interesting.
Nah, that shit,
interesting
bro,
show.
that
What's it
shit is
on?
So funny. It's on Netflix.
Netflix.
Okay,
It's really big.
I'm gonna watch the Bear after that though.
You said Beef's really big
It's
as a show.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Yes, it's a very big show.
Okay, cool.
I'm
word.
real late on shows though, because like I didn't start watching Snowfall till it ended.
Damn. I think I started on season like 4 or 5.
But I got to watch everything. You know what I mean?
That's
With
a fact.
no waiting.
Yeah, that nigga
Still
Franklin.
pissed off in the ending.
Fuck that nigga Franklin. They got you big headed. Speaking of, what are we talking about today, Yoki?
That's crazy. That was a crazy segue.
How?
Nigga just said your head is big. That's crazy.
No, I said Franklin's big headed,
Uh huh.
and then the topic today is.
Empathy.
Oh, it is. I thought we were talking about ego.
Well, it ties into empathy. A
Okay,
lack,
see, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
a lack of empathy. A lack of empathy can be tied into having a big
My
ego
bad, yeah.
or too much pride, and not allowing yourself to see from others' perspectives. Basically, we want to talk about how empathy is a very good concept to use when dealing with disagreements with other people or not seeing eye to eye, oftentimes when you don't have agreement, when you can't agree with somebody else, it's mainly because you can't see from their perspective. And being able to see from their perspective comes from having a certain amount of empathy for them and what they might be going through, and the fact that they're human beings and they might have messed up just like the way you messed up. So without empathy, there can be no compromise or like coming to peace, you know? And on top of that, a lot of people have pride, and pride can just tell you in the back of your head, nah, I'm not gonna let this shit slide. Like, I'm not gonna let you have this, you know what I'm saying? Like, you disrespected me, you spited me, so why should I be the person to be a bigger person?
Pride is the devil. Shout out J. Cole.
Exactly. But really what it is, when people say, I don't want to be the bigger person, it's more like, I feel like it's less, people should stop saying being a bigger person and say more being a more open person, or being the more vulnerable person, because being vulnerable is very scary and it's very hard. Being empathetic is very hard, because to do that is to open yourself up to further, you know, getting attacked, bro. You can get attacked a lot easier if you're being empathetic to somebody else, as opposed to being closed off and saying, my ego's not gonna get bruised, so I'm not gonna let this person have this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have you ever had any encounters or experiences where you've seen other people deal with that, Nick?
Why'd you do that? You know what he did? This is when the teacher's just doing her job, and she's like, matter of fact, what do you think is the answer? The one kid she know either can't read or didn't pay attention.
You're that kid?
Or what?
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying
You
right
start
now,
a random answer like Louisiana.
Yeah.
Like, this is geometry. Like,
no, literally. I feel like that's what you just did. Like, I'm trying to, because as I said, I
just didn't want to rant. I didn't want to, like, you know.
No, but
he was like going.
I didn't want to chat. I didn't want to yap.
I was trying to give you that time because I was trying to catch up on the information.
Well,
for the
we're here,
topic.
twin. Come on. Let's live in that present moment. Go ahead.
So what was the question?
My question was, have you had any experiences where you've seen empathy be very hard to employ in conflicts, or have you seen other people struggle with their pride or their ego getting in the way of empathy?
Man.
You know, and what commentary can you give us?
I always say that pride is my fatal flaw. You know, everybody has their vice, their whatever. I think I'm pretty fucking awesome. Ironically, pride is gonna be my major flaw. It's mostly because I don't think.
Wait. So you said you think you're pretty awesome, so that makes you prideful? I don't think
it's just the irony of like,
what?
I know that I'm solid in all the other aspects. And so I'm so super confident in that that it ends up becoming like, okay, now you got too much pride. Because I also, my biggest issue for real is I don't like being played with, to me. And that's why I struggle. And as a child of God, obviously, it's like, you know, you gotta be empathetic and you have to be understanding and forgiveness and all that good stuff. But sometimes, as a nigga, I'm just like, nah, like, you're not gonna talk to me this way. You're not about to do this. It's it's up, and that's all pride. It's like,
honestly, bro, I'm the same way.
You feel me? Like,
I'm the same way.
Like, you're not about to play with me, or like, especially like, if I already know your character and I know deep down in your heart you can't stand on what you said, then I'm really about to be like, nah, like, let's go outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because you're not like, because come on, like you're doing too much, and you feel like you could do too much because you feel like you could get that off because you feel like I'm not about to do nothing. That's what I be thinking.
It's a lot of assumptions being made off your language, I feel like.
100%.
Yeah.
I guess, but tying it in with empathy, I guess. Like let's say somebody does some shit, right? They show you what their character is. They show you like maybe they're even going through some shit. You know, maybe it's not 100% their fault, but if they cross a certain boundary, it's hard for me to forgive you so quickly. You know what I mean? It's gonna take some time. You know what I mean? I'm not so empathetic once you cross a certain line. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Me either, because it's very much like you understand, like, you know me, right? And you know what I stand on, and you know how I feel about certain things. So when I feel like you disrespected something that you already know how I feel about, nah, like, don't talk to me. It's over, whatever. But then you have to think about the other side of that, because there's definitely been times where I've like crossed certain boundaries and done things I shouldn't have done. You know, hurt people's feelings or whatever the case may be. And I didn't necessarily, like, I wanted that, like, oh, but like, you know, apologize and be good type shit. And that is where pride comes in. Because in my head, and I don't think like this anymore, but in my head, I was definitely for a while like, yo, like, man, I'm that nigga. Like, you feel me? Like, I'm this, that. So like, you don't deserve to have that same grace that I deserve to have, which is just a bad way of thinking. Because you know, everybody deserves that. But I'm thinking based off what I've done, based off my, you know.
So my question is, how do you think your mindset has evolved? Because it seems like you're speaking in a little bit of past tense, like this is how it was, and it was not very positive way of thinking. So how would you say you would interact with those types of situations now, based off of what you've learned from those, you know, experiences?
That's a good question.
What have they taught you, you know? And I can definitely speak on that for myself too, because I don't think I have always been perfect with empathy and not being prideful.
Can I be honest with you?
Of course.
Sometimes you just got to do it. And that's kind of what I've understood. So a lot of the ego and the pride issues that I have, I still have. In the sense that, like, if you do something, my innate thought is going to be, oh, it's up, or like, oh, don't talk to me, all that stuff. However, because I'm like self-aware, it's like kind of that third eye or whatever. It's like, okay, I know how I'm thinking right now is the problem. My actions are not going to mimic that. And I feel like if you almost like fake it till you make it. So it's like, I was in the process of like, okay, let me just do the right thing that I know is the right thing. Yeah. And let me keep doing that. And then eventually the mindset changes. And slowly but surely it's getting there. It's gotten better. I'm not where I want to be yet, but it's getting better. So it's like, sometimes you just got to do the action, you know, before maybe the clarity comes in. The clarity sometimes comes later. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
No, I can definitely get behind that, bro. I think since being humbled in my recent experiences in life, I've definitely learned to have a little bit more empathy, because empathy comes from having, I think somebody who has too much pride for their own good or has a lack of empathy for others, sometimes, and this is not always, but in my experience, it's been where I haven't had enough empathy for myself. And so when I can't be empathetic towards myself and give myself the benefit of the doubt and understand that I make mistakes and I'm just a human being, then there's no possible way that I can have that for anybody else. So in dealing with little mini quarrels with friends, social interactions where it's just not gone well, I've found that being introspective and thinking after has helped me a lot, because I've definitely grown since like a year ago, my sophomore year of college, or even my freshman year, or even dating back to as far as high school. I've definitely grown. And I think it's about, for me, not completely identifying with those feelings of anger or frustration or irritability all the time, because what you identify with or what you connect with or attach yourself to is what you're going to outwardly project. You know, it's like it's going to become you, you know, as much as you tell yourself. The more you tell yourself that you are something, or you're feeling these feelings, and these feelings are a part of you, and there's no way for you to disconnect yourself from them or remove yourself from those feelings, then they are going to become you. And so for me, I've just tried to take a step back whenever I'm feeling intense emotions, or just do something that takes my mind off of it, you know, let myself think. It's like, it's a saying that I've heard a lot is, don't make important decisions when you're emotionally charged. For sure. Or, you know, too angry or too hungry or too sad or whatever negative or self-destructive emotion that you might be feeling. Because then you make those decisions based off of how you're feeling in that moment. And when you end up coming back to homeostasis or like a balanced state, you're going to be like, oh man, I think I could have thought that through a lot better. You know, I think I could have made a much more sound decision. So for me, I like to make sure that I'm thinking, even in day-to-day, minute-to-minute, moment-to-moment situations where I'm conversing, I might make a mistake, or I might talk out of turn a way that I didn't want to, or say something that I didn't want to. But I always like to give myself the grace just to be like, all right, I'm good. I made a little mistake, but that was just a reaction or an impulse. And I know now that I can make a better decision in this moment moving forward. Like 5 seconds ago, I made a mistake to say something to somebody or call somebody something that I shouldn't have. And now I can say, okay, well, maybe I can apologize here and just, you know, be a little bit kinder. Or a day later, maybe I can think about it and be like, okay, maybe I could just act better. And if it's hard for you to say I'm doing it for them, I think the best thing to say is I'm doing it for myself. Self-preservation, you can call it that, you know?
I agree with what you're saying. It's not easy though. And I don't think it's just about yourself either. I think it has a lot to do with who it's involved with. Because there's some people, like for me, I don't have a problem saying when I'm wrong. And I don't have a problem squashing shit. But I have a problem when the other person totally can't do that shit. You know what I mean? Like, so if they're like, what's so funny?
Nah, because I think I know what we're talking. Like, I know what you're getting at.
I'm not talking about a specific person.
Of course not.
But if the shoe fits, you know what I mean? But if it's someone who's totally like stubborn and they never apologize, it's kind of harder to be the bigger person in that situation. You know what I mean?
That's
why I say you could change it from being the bigger person and be the more vulnerable person.
That's difficult
that's
too, though.
Worse.
Of course, it's
not worse.
One thing that I don't try to pretend is that it's an easy thing to do. It's never an easy thing to do, but nothing easy is worthwhile. Everything hard, everything that takes some time, some inner turmoil is going to be worthwhile at the end. It's gonna say, you can say at the end of that, you grew a little bit, you know, you got a little bit better. Maybe it took you breaking yourself down and not standing by some of the principles that you stand on, or standing by, you know, standards that you want to live by. But at the end of the day, you became a little bit more open of a person, and you said, man, that was tough. And that person still doesn't think the way I think they should think, or they're not going to squash the beef in the same way. They still have this opinion on me and this view of me that I know is not true. But that's why Stoicism is so fucking important, bro. Because Stoics, I think the reason that Stoics can seem so detached and so apathetic to situations is because they're not identifying their own self-worth or how they think about themselves or how they view the world off of somebody else's view. Because everybody else is always going to be on a different wavelength. You're going to meet other people that are on the same wavelength, like maybe some of your family members or some good friends of yours or a significant other that you meet, and that's why you guys have those relationships. But for the most part, a lot of people are going to be in very different realms from you in this world. So I think that's why it's important. It sounds like numbing yourself or, you know, not caring as much. And to some extent, it definitely is not caring as much, but it's more caring more about how you're doing internally and reminding yourself who you are, as opposed to being stuck on the fact that this person is never going to change and this person's always going to act like that. Yeah. And this is getting me tight. And we just had this conversation and now they don't want to listen, blah, blah, blah. You know, it could just continue to go in circles and circles and circles.
That's what
run yourself rampant.
That's what the tough part comes in.
Oh yeah, I feel you, bro.
Like, you have to have that to do what you're saying. You have to have a certain level of, not that you don't care all the way, but you have to have a certain level of I don't give a fuck.
You gotta be standing on business, but you gotta be solid in yourself.
But that's hard when it's someone that you do care about.
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna care a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it comes with understanding that you don't, and I know you spoke about this too, Yoki, kind of the idea of like matching energies and how that's so prevalent today. Like, oh, I'm heavy on energy,
heavy on that, bro.
However,
that's so like not.
It doesn't work. Because
as long as it's not destructive. If it's little, just like.
But you notice
irritable, you know, stupid things.
But it always is, because I feel like I never hear matching energy when like you give somebody gives you a hug. You're never like, oh, I'm gonna match that energy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's always like on some BS or on some something wild.
People have built-in negativity bias, but they see the world like naturally from a negative, from a psychological standpoint. People are going to view the world from a more negative perspective. So when you see negative things in the world, you're going to want to latch onto them and tell yourself, no, that person just proved my point. So I'm going to match their energy and be a dickhead just like they're being a dickhead.
Exactly. It's always just something
There's nothing
bad.
good for you, though.
Right. So it's always something bad. And so I feel like those kinds of ideas, when you really take a second and say, I'm not going to match energy. I'm going to give them my energy, my good energy, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And sometimes it really only takes a second. As I said, like, in certain situations, even with somebody you care about, sometimes you got to do it before you even believe it. Like,
yeah, bro. Sometimes you just got to push yourself.
In your head, you might be like, "Yo, I'm about to," but it's like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna show love right here. I'm not gonna, because I said it doesn't lead to anything good, and you've already been down that road. So I feel like that's really important. And I think also, kind of, the idea of, again, being emotionally intelligent and understanding understanding that your feelings are different than like reality necessarily. So somebody may do something to you, and especially if somebody you care about that you're close with, you can be vulnerable and say, hey, listen, like, I didn't like how you treated me in that situation. I didn't like what you said in that situation. And if they really care about you and love you back, they'll apologize. Oh, I didn't mean it like that, or apologize and move differently. And if they don't, and they say, oh, well, I don't care, whatever, then now you know, and then you move on. But being able to have those conversations, I think, is also important. And I think that will lead to you having empathy in others too, because when you're able to have those conversations and really understand your feelings, when somebody does something to you, you'll be like, okay, I feel why you did that. Even if I don't like it, I feel it because I've been there. You know what I mean? You gotta look at it like that.
You can associate yourself with it. So
most definitely. There's this saying.
Yeah.
In Latin. It's
he's smiling. He want to cook. Let him cook.
He's looking for it in his tabs right now. That's
there's this little quote that I heard.
Because they're gonna think, oh, he was on his phone this episode. It's like, nah, I was studying. It's called Transit Umbra Lux Permanent. Transit Umbra Lux Permanent. It's shadow passes, light remains. And so I think that basically what I got from that is that when you kind of cast these dark clouds around yourself and around others, you know, even if you're, you know, trying to be empathetic and stuff like that, it doesn't always work if you're just continuing to cast these dark shadows around. The light is what's going to stay. So the light is you know, being empathetic and you understanding, you know, how people are feeling and actually trying to, you know, connect with people, and even the people that, as I said, maybe rub you the wrong way and stuff like that. Those connections are going to be what remains, not the little petty catty issue that you felt away over and then you crashed out over. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I fully understand what you mean. I actually have.
That was crazy. I'm sorry.
That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, no worries. I was also looking through my phone to see if there were
good questions.
Yeah, any good questions.
Shout out to the lovely listeners.
Shout out to the listeners.
Shout out, bro. I put out a little poll telling people to ask me questions based off of or what they'd want to hear.
I'm interested to hear these questions, man. This is the first time we're doing this.
Oh, me too, right? This is done.
I just pick one randomly.
Yeah. Any, meeny, mo. Close your eyes and point. Point and shoot.
Okay. I'm gonna scroll through, and don't. Okay, yeah, but that's basically the one that I was looking at. This kind of goes hand in hand. It's how to overcome narcissism. I think that goes hand in hand with I think honestly, because I feel like there's some people that are diagnosed with borderline narcissism, whatever condition or disorder, and I think there's just human beings in general, who naturally deal with certain levels of being narcissistic or self-serving or too self-absorbed at certain parts or periods in their lives. I think I definitely have gone through situations like that, and it's just a part of growing and you know, going through phases as a human being. I think a very good way that I try to overcome this is reminding myself of, like I said before, what somebody else might be going through. And it could be an active exercise where you put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Because I say I'm like a visual learner. I like to put stuff out on a page. So I'll literally write to myself how I'm feeling, why I'm acting this way. And then even write a scenario, think and write down, what could that other person be going through? What have they told me they're going through? What have I seen them go through? What is it that they're dealing with? And how could I be adding to that? What could my behavior be contributing to the world around me, the people that I care about around me, you know, how I'm acting. And also just remind yourself, if you don't want to overcome any narcissistic or self-absorbed behavior, the world is going to end up humbling you in the end. I think practicing humility is extremely important, because I was on a very high horse at one point in my life, and the world put me in my place, for lack of better words, and was like, hey, man, we got to show you real quick,
sit down.
You got to work. Yeah, exactly. You got to work yourself up from the bottom and figure yourself out and try to be a lot more humble and practice just being more appreciative. Gratitude for every little thing, I think, helps cure being self-absorbed, because you can be confident. It's the difference between being confident and loving yourself and thinking of yourself highly is very different from thinking of yourself above other people. One quote that my mom reminds me a lot, or that she told me when I was in about 7th grade, that I remind myself, is you're not above anybody else and nobody's above you. You know, we're all on the same level. There's some people that choose to do more with the gifts that they've gotten. and regardless of who you listen to, I like to say God, like the gift that you've gotten from God, the innate powers, the love, the abilities that you've gotten from God. However you choose to use them is up to you, whether you want to push out love into the world, be an inspirational force, a force for hope, or teaching people things, teaching yourself things, creating things, like whatever you want to do with it is up to you. But we were all equally given, a hand in this life. And of course, many people deal with different things. In the climate that we're living in right now, there's a lot of people who aren't nearly as well off or don't have situations where they can say that they're living in a liberated society or they're doing well. So being empathetic, again, is just a key factor in this, I think. What would you say, speaking on that?
That's a really
specify
deep,
it if you need to. Whatever.
It's a really deep question. I tend to lean towards understanding not necessarily etymology, but also just like context and really kind of looking back to where these things come from. So when we talk about narcissism, that's a Greek myth of Narcissus, I believe.
Yeah, Narcissus.
Narcissus.
Yeah.
And so how that story goes, he's, the most beautiful man in the world, men, women, all alike, right? See it. And he rejects everybody that comes to try to talk to him, he's dubbing everybody. And he falls in love with the reflection of himself in the water. And he goes, and so he jumps in the water to try to be with this reflection. And the story ends in 2 weeks, right? And so the story ends in 2 ways. I've seen one where he drowns, falling into the freaking river. And that's the other one where he can never.
In ancient times, couldn't swim for real?
Some of them.
Crazy.
Some of them, right? And then the other part of it was that he was so upset that he couldn't be with himself that he literally beat himself to death. Like he bruised his heart from just like punching himself.
It's a little excessive.
But think about how much, like that's an extreme example. Obviously it's a story, but look where he ended up. You know what I'm saying? Like the nature and the etymology of this name comes from somebody who literally loved themselves to the point where they died because they could not be with themselves.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So when that kind of puts it in perspective, I feel like look, there's nothing wrong with being confident, to Yoki's point, but at the end of the day, there's 7 billion people in this world. You have so many reasons to not be narcissistic. Like looking at how beautiful the landscape is, seeing somebody and being like, yo, that dude is fly, or that girl's dope, all that stuff. Literally, the artwork that I'm looking at Kudo Society right now is like, yo, whoever did that is mad talented. Like, there's so many reasons to not be narcissistic that it's just like you got to find it in everyday life, yo. And also keeping that perspective when you get into that point, when you on that high horse, keep in perspective, yo. How did this end up for everybody else that did the same thing I'm doing right now? That's what.
Yeah, bro. I just started working in the city. You know how this is, Yoki. I'm sure you know how this is.
Yo, the city is a time and a half. It's a lot.
Nothing will make you not only just feel small, but make you not want to be the star of the show like New York City. Like you just want to mind your fucking business.
Being a small fish in a very, very big pond.
Facts. But to what y'all were saying before, one, I don't want to say it comes with age, but it comes with experience. Like I think some people, they don't fully know, how heavy certain shit is, so they go through it themselves. But also, as far as like narcissism, I think it goes both ways, because there's some people who definitely are too narcissistic, but I think there's some other people who kind of lack that trait a little bit, who don't see themselves in that certain light and therefore don't reach their full potential.
Yeah, that can also be self-destructive in itself too. Being self-deprecating or just looking down on yourself. It's a difference between being humble and just like shitting on yourself.
Yeah. Honestly, this is gonna sound really, I guess, maybe a little messed up, but I have like no, empathy. It put me on how to get that. I don't have any empathy for people that are like, oh, I'm so ugly, or like, oh, I ain't shit, I'm this, I'm that. Like that shit pisses me off so much.
Why does it piss you off though? What if they're really ugly?
Because if you don't fuck with you, why should I fuck with you?
Well, listen, I think you're looking at it from your own perspective.
Almost definitely, I am. Most definitely.
I think you're putting your. I don't mean like you're looking from your perspective, because that's all you can do as a human being. You can't literally put yourself in somebody else's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're putting your own standards onto them of living. I don't think, because listen, think about it like this. Right. I don't know if you've been through bullying. I don't know if you've been through this or that. And you can say, oh no, I know. I've considered, they've gone through bullying or whatever. But still, that's what's blocking you from empathy. Taking the time to, like you said, faking it till you make it, maybe, is like, maybe that person went through their parents looking down on them their whole lives. Maybe their uncle, or maybe their best friends, or maybe they didn't have best friends. Maybe the people at their school was shitting on them. Maybe they went through a time where they didn't look at themselves well. Or maybe it's just a character trait that they've grown and they never had anybody saying good things to them. Maybe there were no negative things, but maybe nobody said any good things, so they're just very low on themselves, or they have meek characters,
or maybe they're just ugly. It's important to be self-aware sometimes. I'm just saying, some people, like, I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but sometimes like we all got that friend where it's just like, all right, like,
you're not gonna call them for the 2 man?
No,
okay,
absolutely not. But then there's other traits that they have, what I mean?
Right.
But like,
here's the thing, and to Yoki's point,
I also don't think life is based off of looks as well.
It depends
to a large extent.
It depends. No, I'm not saying it depends on, like, I think if you. Like, I know that I get treated differently when I have a cut versus when I don't have a cut. You feel me? Like,
that's a small discrepancy, but I understand what you're saying.
As in, like, yeah, like
a small detail, but I understand what you're
saying. Yeah, but
I feel like we can all agree on that. A cut is a cut.
Right, but life in general, you're correct, is not about looks.
Cut is a cut. Your face is your face.
That's true.
There's a big difference.
That's honestly,
That's so true. That's so true. That's so true.
You can't change your face.
But what I did want to say is, like, I think another important thing to talk about, though, is knowing yourself and knowing what your limits are. I think that, to your point, definitely in the context of like this, I'm looking at it from my experiences, not necessarily understanding theirs. And I could definitely fake it till I make it, or at least understand their experiences, right? That I can most definitely do. However, I can also understand, hey, look, I understand what you're going through is real and it's difficult. I may not be that guy that's going to uplift you or maybe give you what you need, but I know somebody who can. Or like, I know some resources that you can go, therapy and different things you can try to get through that. But I know I'm not the person that's going to be able to kind of walk you through that journey, because that's not a journey I went through. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have, you know what I'm saying, that frame of reference to be able to help you in the way that you may need.
I feel.
I can understand to some extent what you're saying. I definitely have been somebody who's been looked down on and been told that I don't suit the standards in terms of looks or.
But did it stick?
Like anything like that. It's been something that I'm still working through now. Yeah, I'm still working through it now.
But like, you're a cutie patootie.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. I think I'm a beautiful human being inside and out.
Right.
I think
that was the point Nick was making. You should think that way.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Of course. But think about it like this.
Unless you're ugly.
You met me. I don't agree with that. I know you're joking, but I don't agree with that. But you met me at a point where I've sufficiently learned to love myself a lot more.
That's true.
I used to come back from high school every break, and my mom and my uncle would talk to me and be like, "Do you think you're a good-looking dude, Karaoke? Like, you're a good-looking dude, right?" And I'd look at them and be like, "No, I'm not." And he'd be like, Karaoke, I see the way girls are looking at you. Like, I see the way people, around you are charismatic, good-looking, whatever. I was like, I appreciate you guys because you guys are my family. But no, I'm not. I don't see that. Like, I'm some ugly little African kid, and that's all I'll ever be in my mind.
Is it because you weren't getting the attention from the people who?
It's not even I wasn't getting the attention from the people. Okay, part of it was the people, the girls that I would look at, because I like women. The girls that I would look at wouldn't look at me the same way, and I wasn't the most masculine or I was a late bloomer, if you can call that. But then again, on top of that, I was getting bullied for the way I looked, looking African or having skin like this, or my teeth, or certain things. Are you too skinny or too short? Whatever it was, there's a multitude of things, a myriad of things. But you have to understand, if you had met me then, you would have probably had that opinion, and that would have distanced you from me, because you wouldn't have had an open heart to just seeing me for more than my perspective and the way I was. Because the way I was I was a very closed off and hurt human being. Like, I was hurt by a lot of people that I thought were supposed to be there for me. Even in TJ, for example, TJ, and just I use the example of TJ, because Thomas Jefferson Middle School was the school that I went to before high school, before I went away to boarding school, was a lot of people that look like me that would make fun of me for the way I look, or say that where I was from, because of that, biologically and economically, I was worse off and I was a worse person because of it. And they look down on me for those things. And it's funny because a lot of those people now will talk to me like none of that ever happened, you know?
That is crazy.
It's crazy as fuck, because they come look at you and they're talking to you like, yo, Yoki, oh, I see what you're doing with this and I see what you're doing with that. And it has nothing to do with my ego or anything. It's very interesting to see how people change, because I was a very, very disrespected human being. Not by my close friends, because my close friends are still my close friends. Shout out my boy Isaac, my boy Kobe, shout out Nia, you know, shout out Asia. Yeah, shout out Saba. But shout out my peoples. But like, apart from those people and a couple other people, like for the most part, I was disrespected. So if we had met then, just think for a second. That's why I say seeing from another person's perspective. Like, use me an example. Imagine how I would have taken it if you sat there and told me, or told somebody else that came and told me, or that gossiped about the fact that you were like, nah, the way Karaoke sees himself, bro, like that's a him problem. Like, why can't you see? Yeah, no, he's a cool looking dude. Like, he's good looking, I guess. Like, he's cool, bro. You know, like obviously, like you wouldn't be like, oh, he's beautiful, or whatever at the time, or young. But like, think about it like a wounded person, and I don't mean like wounded physically, but wounded in their soul or their heart, how they'd feel. Being empathetic does a lot to helping that person open up, and that could be the first step. I'm not saying you're responsible for every single wounded human being that you come across, like helping them better themselves or doing better with themselves. I like to task myself with helping as many people as I can through my content, because I have a platform like that, and I'm blessed to, because I see a lot of myself and a lot of people that I talk to. But like, trying to be open when you can be, and being that person that maybe, you know, smiles and be like, bro, you don't even have to outwardly say like, oh, you're a good looking dude. Just like making them feel like a regular human being, that could be empathy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be some grand gesture. It can just be like lending out a metaphorical hand to that person and being like, bro, you matter too, bro. Like, none of what other people have been saying about you is a representation of your human worth.
Right.
Like, you're still a beautiful human being. Like, you know, you don't have to see specifically from their perspective. You don't have to change your mind fully and be like, oh yeah, no, you're beautiful, even though I think that some people are generally unattractive, like if that's what one of y'all think or whatever. And I'm not saying it is, but empathy comes in many shapes and sizes and forms of communication. And so I think it all depends on being just a little bit open to understanding that. Because if we had met back then, we might have not been friends, because I would have been like, man, this dude is just like everybody else. You know? Maybe he's a cool dude and I can hang out with him. But as soon as we get on the topic of like, oh, these people making fun of me, he's not going to stick up for me. He's not going to try and see from my perspective. So I'm like, man, that might drive me even deeper into a hole that I was already in.
Right.
You know? Situations like that. That's just an example to ponder on, because it's something that I've had to ponder on for sure.
Right.
I feel like I disagree with you, Yoki.
In what way?
And not to say that you're wrong, but
yeah, what do you disagree on?
This is what I disagree with, right? Like, let's say, I think you're right about everything you said about bullying, right? And I think that it's obviously not right, you know, what happened to you. You can only blame the teenage education system. That's their fault. But, no, I'm being dead ass though. But what I disagree with you is, actually, I don't even say disagree, because you're not wrong. It's just, I don't think that if somebody's bullying me, what I'm going to do is try to lend out a hand like I know you're going through some shit. That's not even the right approach to take.
What do you mean?
If somebody's bullying.
Bullying? No, I didn't. I'd say somebody. I said if he sees me being bullied by others.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
No. I'm not saying you should lend your hand out to the bully.
Okay.
I think that's very traumatic to.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was going to say.
And my mom told me this when I was first going through bullying. That like, yeah, no, that person's definitely going through their own shit. Only hurt people. But she didn't say that and then say, she was like, that doesn't mean you have to go up to them and be like, are you okay?
Yeah. So you
like,
mean if Nick saw you getting bullied,
exactly. And
don't let that.
And he wasn't empathetic to my situation, basically.
Yeah.
Like I was giving him examples of how you could be empathetic to another wounded person who's dealing with something. Yeah,
I agree.
I realized kind of in this conversation even that there's like, to your point, there's ways to go about it that work for you. And so, I'm kind of thinking about like some conversations that you have with people, and I'm always the guy that's like, I know what I know and I don't know what I don't know. So I've definitely been there where it's like, oh, like I'm going through this, and I'm like, yeah, like that really sucks. Like I feel bad, but like I don't know why you're telling me this. Like, oh, like you know what I'm saying? Like I could give you a phone number, somebody you could call. You feel me? Like whatever the case may be. I'm not really the guy to, but maybe to that person or to whoever it is, it's like, yo, I want to talk to you about this. You feel
like
me?
That's also a form of self-deprecation because you don't know how you can be there for that person.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it could be that, like, maybe they are talking to me because I maybe have a different perspective on it than a different person.
Or maybe they just want somebody to hear them out. Yeah, maybe you could give them a perspective that it's like, okay, maybe you're not a master in that craft or in that situation where it's like, oh yeah, no, I definitely dealt with that situation. You going through this with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, or that person's bullying you, or your boss did this shit to you, or your teacher disrespect you, whatever it is, or you having parent problems. Like, I've been through that, so I can give you the perfect, the key with empathy, or the key with connecting with somebody is not being the perfect person to give the information. It's about being a person that's willing to sit there and say, let me open myself up and see what advice that I could give you. Let me maybe heal with you as I try to help you heal in some way. You know, I feel like people overestimate how much of yourself you have to give in order to just be there for somebody. Sometimes being there for somebody is just talking and like having conversations, and then you know, maybe just enjoying your presence and you enjoying their presence, going out for, I don't fucking know. Let's get, for example, Kudos Society, getting some boba with a friend, or going to getting a drink at a bar with a friend or something. You know, whatever it is. Like, it's little shit, bro. Because I know my bros, especially like in the black community and men of color, we don't always have to, because I'd say I'm a pretty emotional person, and the content that I put out makes me seem like a very, I'd say to a lot of extents I'm an emotional person, but with my bros and my friends, sometimes all it takes is us just having a good time. Right. Like maybe we go and watch some anime, or we chill and hang out, like at a park or something. We go hoop together, and that'll be my therapy. Like some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you why I'm laughing.
Why you like laughing?
But first, I want to say from what you said, Nick. First, some people just want to like vent to somebody. That's first of all.
Shit.
Second of all, I feel like that is a lack of empathy. But I feel like you're like, you deal with shit like in like the least, like, I don't want to say emotional way possible, but it's like you base it on what you need. Right. So if you feel like I can't provide that, it's not that like you don't care. It's just like I don't think I can help you.
Of course.
Right. The reason why I was laughing is when he said, when you go somewhere with a friend, so before the QLC came about, right? We were gonna relaunch his old podcast called The Pregame. Yeah. And we did a test show for it.
Oh yeah, shout out Cam.
During the test show, we had this discussion, and Nick said, this is so like Nick, you already know. Nick said that chilling one-on-one with your male homie is crazy.
Nah.
That's what you
There's
said.
so much context.
That's what you said.
There's so much context to what he said.
Give me like a piece of the context.
I said,
he said like going out to go eat with your boy is crazy.
Because he was like, yo, the homies can't go to like a bottomless brunch. And I was like, nah.
No, I didn't say that.
I was like, nah. I'm not going to a bottomless brunch with my mans. Respectfully, if it's like a group of us, like,
damn.
And it's funny because
I guess I'm crazy then, bro. I just went out with my old college roommate. I went to chill at his crib, saw his mom again, said hi to her.
But you would agree.
And we went, no, it was me and bro. We went to go get some ramen. We drank some sake and went back to the crib and watched some anime. Like, if that's crazy to him,
that's a date, bro.
I don't know what to say.
That's a date.
I think that's you seeing from a very hypersexual perspective.
No. Because it's not even about the extra stuff. It's like, oh, we gonna go to ramen.
No, I think
you come to the crib.
That's like being scared of
your.
Say it like that's like we were talking about earlier. That's fragile masculinity. Like,
I don't think so.
Listen to me.
Okay.
Listen to me.
Let me hear your perspective.
I'm not trying to attack you.
Let me hear your perspective.
I'm giving you my perspective is I've seen a lot of black men, because I could speak from the perspective of black men, because I've been like that before, and I went to TJ just like you did, and I have friends from Teaneck High, but like I know that like being afraid of being seen in a certain way, because I'll tell you one thing, maybe it's evolved for you, and maybe I'm all wrong, and you can tell me if I'm all wrong, but maybe it's evolved from when you were younger, niggas would tell you, nah, bro, that's some weird nigga shit, or that's whatever, that's like, so it's zesty or whatever to go out with friends or go out with a friend and do, or like things or situations that you've seen or been in has evolved into you saying, yeah, no, that's weird, and it's just the truth. And I'm not soft for saying that. It's not even soft, but like, it's not me being scared of my sexuality or not being fully secure in my sexuality. I think it has something to do with that. Of course, if you're not comfortable doing things like that, I'm not saying you have to do everything. I'm not saying you have to go out with one bro and have a situation, but I think that speaks to maybe your relationships with friends, and that also speaks to your relationship with yourself and how you see them. Because I feel like you just need to get out of Teaneck more, bro. Like to the fullest extent. I don't have no disrespect, but like I think you
give Nick a chance to clear his name.
Here's the thing.
I don't think he needs to clear his name, because I'm not trying to put.
No. I know.
I know.
But I think
I know what you're gonna say though.
For me, my perspective is like, it's not even about the whole like sexuality thing, whatever, because I think that what people, and I'm not saying you, but I'm saying people in general don't understand is like everybody has their own things that they rock with or they don't, or whatever the case may be, and they have their lines of delineation as to what they want to do and what they don't want to do and what makes them feel certain ways and what doesn't, right? So like in the context of, it's funny because I was actually talking to somebody about this recently because I went to an event and I had body glitter on because I was like, I just wanted to wear body glitter because I was like, screw it, whatever, it's the vibe. And they were like, oh, like you'll wear body glitter, but like you won't put nail polish on. Like, what is that? And I was like, because I want to wear body glitter and I don't want to wear nail polish. Like that's just what it is.
Is this your example that you're connecting?
I'm about to connect it right now.
Let me chat. Let me let you go.
So to connect that to like this, it's a situation where it's like, if you want to go hang out one-on-one with your homie and get ramen and all that stuff, that's cool. For me personally, when it comes to those types of interactions, I prefer it to be in a group setting. And that's also because generally, just the way that I've kind of experienced life,
experiences,
but not about like my relationships, not relationships, my friendships are more, my closer friendships are more with women. So like I have really, like my best friends are girls. So like,
so there might be a lack of experiencing there with like male friends that you can have that comfortable experience with.
Like if I'm like going to somewhere, whatever, I have a one-on-one conversation, I'm calling my homegirl like, yo, this was going on, whatever.
I think you're just proving my point, my brother.
No, but in the context of like, I'll go out with the boys. We are not that cool to where I really just want to sit here with you.
Exactly.
But it's not a oh, like I think this is gay or whatever. Like it's not.
I know.
That's what I was.
And that's why I said maybe I'm wrong, but I'm trying to tell you it doesn't have to be that.
Right.
It can be that, like you just, because I think you're just proving my point without realizing it. It's your definition of what's comfortable and what's not comfortable. Because I know that I've grown up in a female household and I feel very comfortable. Like I was just with my sis. Like that's who dropped me off. My very close female friend. We can go. Like I took her. She went to go get a tattoo redone, and it was chill. Like that's my dude.
Yeah,
like we was hanging out, and like maybe you can do stuff like that with your female friends, but male friends, because of who the male friends are and who you've hung out with and the type of relationships you've cultivated, you can't do that. It's not comfortable. I think to me, what that sounds like is you're barring yourself from further growth with male and female friends, because I think a lot of, I mean, I don't want to go too broad or too general, but our society has really made like media and life hypersexual and like
I agree with
really
that.
Lusty and really weird.
I do
and
agree with
I think it's so good to the point where, as you said, it's not even about any of that, and it might not be in your head like consciously, but subconsciously it's so built in that you're like, this is how I've grown up. These are the female friends that I've grown up with, and my male friends, I don't feel comfortable being around just one, not in a group. And I have had those experiences where I'm like, I'm out with my bro, and I just take a step back and I'm like, why am I feeling weird? Like, this is my bro. We just having good good situations. And I think for me, another part of it is like media that I've watched, shows, TV, whatever. It's like I can see bros hanging out on a TV show and hanging out like when I was like a young kid, you know, whether it was Cartoon Network or this or that or whatever TV shows that I was watching, Disney Channel. And I'd be like, bro, if bros can go hang out, do some shit, it's like, why can't I? Like, am I that weak in my masculinity that I can't be a masculine man and go, and I'm not, just listen, can I go out and just, why can't I just go out, hang out with the bro and just chill? And I found that I've strengthened my male friendships, male relationship with my brothers to a point where it's like, yeah, bro, we can hang out. Like my brothers would be like, bro, you can't, like, for example, I feel like I'm stopping and then going again because I feel like there's so much to be said about this, and we could definitely chat about this at another time.
I could like put it down and we could like do a whole episode on it if you want.
For sure. A big example of that for you, I'd say, and this guy has become like a brother. Shout out Langston, my boy Lord Wood is his rap name. He does music.
Okay.
He's an engineer as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's
that's an old nigga name, bro.
Lord Wood, he's
no, Langston.
Langston. Oh yeah, I make fun of him and say he sound like Langston Hughes.
He the last nigga named Langston.
But my boy Langston,
Shouts
he
Langston.
came to stay with me this past summer. Cause he just needed like solid crib to stay at, cause he was at another bro's house, and he was like, yo, like I'm in a mode right now where I have like some job opportunities and musical opportunities in Jersey and in the city, and I feel like if I could stay with you, who's a bro of mine, and like your mom knows me and your mom knows like Loomis friends, like if that would be cool, let's do it. And he came and stayed with me, and me and bro, like for a lot of our like ventures or like our, I don't know how do you say, like when we go out or like whatever, we go into the city together, you know, and we would maybe go and link other people, go to functions, do this and that, you know, maybe do two mans, if you will, you know what I'm saying? But like 2 mans, y'all mentioned like jokingly 2 men, but like basically our friendship, like we go out to eat or something like that, but our friendship became that much stronger, you know, like he got to know my mom better, and he became another big brother to my little sister, but like that's my bro. And to be able to just sit there and hang out, because we hadn't talked in person for like a year, like a couple of years, it's like I got to see another dimension of a human being that I just viewed as like, oh yeah, that's my bro. Like this is my brother now, like fully my brother now. And I feel like when you have, and I don't think you have to have a full blown like, oh, your bro stays over for like, you know, but like to have like brotherhood and to understand the beauty in that relationship and how solid you can be. Like I can call this bro, I can call him and we're on the same wavelength, and we're on the same page, and it does not matter at all. It's like to have that is something very beautiful and special, because I always had that with my female friends. I never had to like trust. I never didn't trust that they wouldn't be there in those ways, but like to have that with my bro, it's a beautiful thing to have that, because human beings, men especially, women are a lot more comfortable in being like that with their female friends, you know, like they have like fucking girl dinners and all these different phrases and terminology that mad niggas don't even know about. But like men, I feel like have been put in a rigid construct where it's like you have to act a certain way, be a certain way. And I think there's very many pros to being a masculine man and being a non-toxic masculine man and like being strong in that way. But there's also a lot of strength in just being able to just, you know, be vulnerable with your bro. Because it's like I hear a lot of men, a lot of complaints is like men aren't felt like they're heard in our society, you know? They're not allowed to be emotional. They're not allowed to cry. They're not allowed to be emotional with their female friends or their whatever. For me, it's like their girlfriends. When I have a girlfriend, you know, I hope I have a relationship where I can be as emotional as possible. That'd be really cool and really awesome. But I know if I'm in a relationship or gaining a relationship with a girl and I can't be vulnerable with her and I'm going through something, I have my bro that I can just call up. Or if we can hang out in person, we go get some ramen, or for example, we go out to eat, we go hang out, and we could just chat. It doesn't have to be an extreme example like that, but I'm just giving those examples to say, like, broaden your horizons just a little bit. Don't be too afraid to broaden your horizons just a little bit. And also be able to alter your definitions of certain things, like what a hangout is, what a friendship is, male or female. Because if you cannot do that, then I don't think you can truly evolve as a person. Like there's certain things that you want to keep the same, of course, and you want to grow and strengthen those things, you know, ways of thinking, principles, whatever. But if you want to truly evolve and be a fluid person, kind of like how Bruce Lee said, be like water, you want to be able to gain information, maybe experience it for a second, and maybe you go into that and you're like, yeah, no, I was right. Like maybe that's just a Yoki thing, or that's just other guys' things. Like I can't really sit together with the one guy and just chill with a bro because I haven't found a bro like that.
I think it's also important to note too, though.
Experience it.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note too. Like I understand that those experiences are definitely important, but also understanding kind of the difference between, and I can't speak for either one of you, but in my experiences with, you know, men and women, and I think I could say this from talking to other people as well, I think that the way that, even you said it, women interact is more one-on-one, like, oh, like I'm gonna go get lunch with my girl, whatever the case may be. And with men, it's generally a lot of group settings as well. So like for me, that experience you said you had with your one boy, I can go out with 3 of my boys and have that same experience because we're still connected in that way. We've lived together, we've lived life together, we've experienced all those things together, we've gone out together as a group, we've, you know, gone on vacation as a group, we've done all these things as a group. So that experience that maybe you may have with that one person, I have with the group. So if one of us is going through something, it's not like, oh, let me text this one bro on the side or whatever. It's, I'm hitting the group chat, yo, who's around right now? Or they're hitting the group chat, yo, who's around right now? So then as a group, we all come together and it takes a village. Where I think on the other side of that, like if one of my friends, that are women hit me like, oh, like I'm going through something right now, like can we talk or something like that? It's more of like, I'm gonna text you, I'm not gonna hit the group chat, you know what I mean? And that's just been my
a completely different situation though.
But it's
talking about something vulnerable that we need to talk. Obviously, you wouldn't be in a group chat.
But as I said, with the boys, It's
You don't have no situations where your bro is comfortable enough to be like, yo, bro, I'm going through something. Can we chat?
my boy is so comfortable to hit the group chat because we all have that relationship as a group. So it's, yo, I'm going through this. Who's available? Let's all link up.
I honestly think it's.
You feel me?
I think it's what you said earlier.
It might be case by case basis. Then it's just
Type
your
B.
experiences.
I don't think
but-
he's close enough with any of his male friends to do that because I think
Yeah,
that
I genuinely do still. I still
Yeah.
agree with him because I think you need to have a relationship where.
Because I'll be honest with you, I don't have a problem like I guess going to get some food with like a homie of mine, but it depends on the homie. There's other homies who I'll chill with you when the group is there, but we don't really chill one-on-one. So it is a case-by-case basis.
I think you might just not.
I just think you
friends
just
like
don't
that.
have like close male friends.
Even like take us, right? Like our group when we was in college, right?
Yeah.
When something was going on, very rarely was it like like Justis gonna text me and be like, yo, we need to talk, or like Johan gonna text,
unless
whatever.
it was like work.
Unless it's work. But like if it's something where like, there's here, like we all linking up, the group chat is getting hit. True. Where's everybody at? Whatever the case may be. That's just how
That's true.
That's how I've experienced things, and I have no problem with that. I enjoy that. Okay, we're gonna hit the group chat. We're gonna do whatever. Very rarely is it like, yo, I'm gonna hit you on the side so we can go. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
true.
That just don't.
But like if it happens,
It's not really on the side though. I think you're viewing it from like your group is the group and the group is the group and there's no change to the group being the group. Does that make sense to you? There's no individuality in your relationships with those friends.
We gotta wrap up soon.
I was about to say we definitely gotta wrap up.
I definitely want to talk about this.
We can
another day.
definitely.
we definitely do gotta revisit this.
But before we wrap up, do y'all want to like answer some questions from like the IG?
Didn't we do that already?
I think we only answered like one.
Let me see if there's any like short
one?
form questions that we can answer. I can definitely think of a couple
from our beautiful viewers.
Okay. Well, I would say from sticking with the bro or male perspective, dealing with and I'm not gonna say the word, so I'm gonna put a C at the front, like the food, corn addiction. In general, like he's saying, like how do you deal with corn addiction? Like how do you get over it? Whatever. And I would say for me, it's a battle. And like I said, men in general have been put in a very tight spot where because of how we've come up and black men being hypersexualized and just men in general dealing with just like fuck black men in general being in the center of very sexualized media, you know, whether it's like Instagram models here or OnlyFans here now, or, you know, and people in general just having
easy access.
It's easy access, bro. Corn is like, it's free. You can look it up. Private browser and it's right there and there's no trace of what you've done. I think a lot of it is, first of all, realizing what it's doing to you as a human being, like how it makes you sexualize every little thing that you see in the world. And then second of all, kind of trying to set up habits in your life that can benefit you in other ways, you know? Like also, I think for me, one thing that really helped me, apart from just like setting up habits and trying to be consistent with like those habits, and whenever I do get the urges, putting my mind somewhere else, is doing research. Like I was just like, so why is it so bad? Because I was like, at first I was like, okay, it's a dopamine rush. I get to experience this, whatever. When I researched like the actual industry and what it does to people and how it's characterized and how it makes other people think. And then from a psychological perspective, like what's his name? Andrew Huberman, I think is his name, who's a known psychologist who talks about like the effects of certain things on your brain. I was like, man, I did not know it was affecting me like that. And then when I went back and I would relapse, I would experience and I'd be like, okay, yeah, no, I see. So it's all about like, I feel like people try to find the answers to their problems without doing some research for themselves, you know, like doing some self-work and being like, let me take care of myself and do some research.
Yeah.
How would you speak on that? I think that'll probably be our last, like first and last question or second and last.
I agree. I think it comes down to kind of what we spoke about earlier. Just you gotta do it before you believe it sometimes. So that's a situation where if you gotta stop, like I know people have gone through it where, bro, they turning the Wi-Fi off. Like it got to, you feel me? Like if it got to get to that point, you got to do whatever you can do to stop it first. Like you feel me? Like if I just got stabbed right now, I wouldn't be like, oh well, like how's my liver? What do I need to look at? What surgeries do I need? I'm gonna stop the bleeding first. You know what I'm saying? Like the bleeding got to stop, and then you can go in and kind of work that out. So the first thing you got to do is do whatever you can to stop, and then from there, to your point, do the research or look at how it's affecting you physically, mentally, emotionally, how your interactions are with, people that you're interested in romantically and things like that.
Yes.
Those things are the things you're going to look at on a deeper level to make sure that you don't go back to it. But the immediate thing that you need to do is stop. That's what I would say first.
And then don't judge yourself if you mess up after as well. It's a big thing.
Of course.
That guilt, bro, from relapsing or falling back into whatever addiction that is. And this goes for many addictions. Don't be so quick to judge yourself and label yourself as a fuck up or a failure for messing up once, twice, thrice, however many times it takes for you to start to do better. But
and if you believe in some type of higher power as well, I would definitely tap into that. I'm Christian. I'm tapping into that word.
So basically Christian as well. So
there's a lot of stuff to read about lust and stuff like that in there. So
all the answers.
So tap in for real. So to wrap up. That was we had some great conversations on this. You got a quote?
Yes.
Talk about it.
It's a very short quote, but I think it encapsulates how we've been chatting about certain things. But the best answer to anger is silence. And I think what that implies is to think, to let yourself go through the anger, feel it, understand it, and not make decisions based off of it right away. And that can go for a lot of different negative emotions or emotions that can be self-destructive, whether it's jealousy, anger, frustration, whatever it is, lust. Like, be silent for a second. Just in the caverns of your mind, let it flow and let it vibe out. And then after however long it takes, make a decision, an educated decision.
That was tough.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
He said the caverns of your mind. I'm going to steal that and I'm going to put that in something.
Type shit. Go ahead, bro.
1,000%.
Make some poetry out of that.
That was hard. The caverns of your mind. I like that. I'm using that. This one is from C.S. Lewis, top tier author. I sat with my anger long enough until she told me her real name was grief. I think that that one.
Nigga, that's hard as fuck.
Right? Like, and especially with what we're talking about. It's just understanding your emotions.
I like how our quotes just went hand in hand.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be so right. I had a list, so I was like,
okay.
I was like, well, he gonna go with this.
Like, kind of lock in with him real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Those were both tough ones,
right? But yeah, just staying with understanding your emotions and understanding what they mean. You know what I mean? Because so you may be angry in the moment, but really maybe you're just hurt, or really maybe you're tired, or really maybe you're upset. Like those emotions are so fickle and so close knit that sometimes they overlap, and then you get confused and you don't really know. Like you think you're feeling one thing, but it's really the other. So understanding those will also give you a lot of empathy and also will help you be a better person, not only to other people but to yourself.
No kidding.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think. Any last words before we wrap up, Justis?
Yeah, Justis. You got to do your.
I know I got to what?
You got to do your thing.
Oh, I mean,
should we wrap up first?
Yeah, I think you should wrap up because I don't got a quote.
Okay, word.
But everybody makes mistakes. Hannah Montana.
Type shit.
That's my quote.
Type shit. Well, with that being said, y'all, love y'all, bro. In a second, he's gonna tell you where to find us. But stay stoic, bro. Please do your push-ups. Be kind to yourself because kindness to self is the highest form of empathy, in my opinion. And yeah, bro, just
much love.
Take a breath and smile a little bit.
Also, shout out Kudo Society again.
Shout out Kudo
Lovely
Society.
being here. We got a lot of good stuff coming with them soon. Tap in with us on all socials. We're gonna have a lot more content for you guys and a lot more conversations that we're gonna be having. Anything you want to talk about? Any guests you want us to have on that you think might be dope or that you want to hear us, people you want to hear us talk to, definitely tap in with us on that as well. And then Jay's gonna tell you where to find us and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so obviously y'all are here, so subscribe to Supervillain Studios and make sure you like and share this, send this to everybody. Follow the pod on Instagram, QLC Experience, and on TikTok, QLC Experience. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh yeah, if you need your podcast produced, go to www.supervillainstudios.net.
Indeed. Somebody actually just hit me, but we'll talk offline. Thank you guys. Y'all have a lovely night.
Yeah.
Bow.